All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, we got some blue-purple Sanji action lined up for you. That's right. I've been working on a very tanky, defensive, fortressy control style build for blue-purple Sanji. Pretty different from what I've seen a lot of other people building. I did show off a game about a week ago at the time you're recording this video and putting it out. I showed off a game about a week ago of a list that we're going to be running today, or at least a very similar list to what we're going to be running today. So let's go ahead and get into this. Let me say something up front. It will be an OP13 legal list, and I know OP12 is about to come out for us in the West very, very soon, in about a week or two. But I will explain that probably towards the end of the video. I'll explain how to break the list back down so that it's OP12 legal. Okay, so let's do this, guys. First of all, let me break down the video. First things first, we're going to be checking out the deck list and breaking that down. After that, we're going to head over to the sim. We got 5 games to go over on the sim. And then we're going to finish up by recapping, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about the list moving forward. Okay, and as usual, I'll have everything time-stamped in the general description, and I'll have all relevant deck lists and links and stuff like that in the comments section below. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden. To celebrate their 1-year anniversary, they're thanking the fans with a huge sale. Nearly everything in the store is $30 or less. And you can use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 5% off on your next order. Alright guys, let's go and break down the deck list for today's video, starting off with the leader. Sanji is a blue-purple, 5,000 power, 4 life, Straw Hat Crew, Vinsmoke family type leader with the effect, activate main once per turn, Dawn -1, activate up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type event card from your hand with an original cost of 3 or less, and then another effect, when attacking, if the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So, we're going to go through the entire deck list real quick. If you're a newer player and you don't know what these cards do, be sure to pause and read what each one does, because I'm going to mouse over each one. Okay? So, we're running 4 Kaya, we're running 3 Edward Newgate, we're running 3 Reiju, 3 Rosinante, 4 Doflamingo, 4 2K Counter Sanji, 3 Katakuri, 4 Concaster, 2 Gum Gum Jet Culvern, 4 Buff Burst, 3 Gum Gum Red Rock, 3 Gum Gum Giant, 4 Gear 2, 4 Luffy is the Man Who Will Be the Pirate King, and 2 God Threads. So what is going on here, guys? We have a lot to talk about. What is this deck even trying to do? We're not even running the 3-cost Sanji, right? Notice the Sanji on the side on the left of the screen here. We're not even running this card, which was kind of built specifically for this leader. Well, what we're actually trying to do in this deck is we're trying to ramp. This deck, we are trying to get to the late game. Okay, we are trying to, let me just explain the curve of this deck real quick, how it's meant to function. I'm going to talk about the going second curve, and I'll talk about the going first curve afterwards. We want to go second every single time with this deck. Here's why. Turn 1, we can fix our hand with Kaya, play out use Concaster to draw a card, or use the 1-cost event, Luffy is the Man Who Will Be the Pirate King, to search what we need. Okay, so that's turn 1. Turn 2, we're going to slam down a Reiju. Turn 3, we're going to slam down Rosinante, trashing an event from our hand to draw 2 cards. Turn 4, we're going to slam down Katakuri, and turn 5, Edward Newgate. That is what the deck is meant to do, and there's a lot of card draw in this deck, guys. A lot of cycling going on. We have Buff Burst that we can play out and not go backwards in Dawn, using our Sanji's effect. We can, we can actually offset the Dawn -1 from Buff Burst with Sanji's when attacking effect and still draw through our deck. We also have the 1-cost events here, like Luffy is the Man Who Will Be the Pirate King. This does a top 3 search, and you don't even show your opponent what it is, and you can grab any card from those top 3 cards. Okay, then Concaster, just pay 1, draw a card. So your oh, and by the way, even Rosinante, right? If you trash an event, you're drawing 2 cards. So there is a lot of card draw built into this deck, and you'd be surprised how consistently we're finding those pieces for the curve. Okay, and now, so that's the even curve. Going first actually doesn't change much. Here's what you're going to do going first. Turn 1, you're still going to do your 1-cost event, the purple or blue event to do some card draw and some hand fixing. Turn 2, if you have Gear 2, you're going to play Gear 2 to get to an even curve. And then guess what? 6th on turn, you're dropping down Rosinante, and then next turn Katakuri, next turn Newgate. If you didn't get Gear 2 in time, hopefully you got Doflamingo or Godthread. If not, then I guess you're just stuck on the odd curve. It happens. But but the odd curve is fine in this deck because we want to fix it with Gear 2, Doflamingo, or Godthread, and then get back on the even curve and go from there. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do with the list. We are trying to drop down. Notice almost every card in this entire deck is a blocker. We're running Katakuri, Sanji, Doflamingo, Reiju, and Newgate. The only characters in this deck that are not blockers are extremely high utility and card cycling, like with Kaya and Rosinante. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Well, wait a minute. We're about to go into OP12 in the West. What am I supposed to do? I don't have access to this new Edward Newgate. Number one, that is unfortunate because this card is absolutely cracked. Okay, I think you're going to see in today's games. But for the time being, I am only running 3 of this card. You have a lot of options to go through for replacing this card. Number one, I would say, is actually Nami. Nami is the number 1 card I would replace Edward Newgate with. Notice how low our counter power is in this deck, guys. We're not trying to counter out of attacks. We're trying to block out of attacks, like with Katakuri and with this Newgate. Okay, so number 1, actually, let me say that real quick. For OP12, the very first adjustment I would make is go -1 Edward Newgate to go +1 Katakuri. That's the immediate adjustment, and now you just have to replace 2 more of the Newgates, and then these Doflamingos we'll talk about in a second. So after going -1 Newgate for +1 Katakuri, for the remaining 2 spots there, you might actually just want to go +1 Reiju and +1 Rosinante. Or you can go +2 Nami, like we were just talking about. Then the other card we have to worry about is PRB02 Doflamingo. This is just a 5-cost 6k, 1k counter blocker. If you're on play, if your leader's multicolored, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and set as rested. So I would replace this card with whatever card you can that ramps a Dawn. This is actually the card it's actually probably the hardest card to replace in the deck, right? Because with the Edward Newgate, replacing this, it actually lowers the curve, the cost curve of the deck down, and probably increases, our 1k counter package, which is not terrible, right? Because we can go like I said, -1 Edward Newgate to go +1 Katakuri, so that's -2 cost off the top, and then get rid of the other 2 Newgates for 2 of the 5-cost Nami, right? That would pretty much help the entire situation there. However, whatever the case is, it's not too bad to replace this card because Nami even does a draw 3 and then put 2 on the top or bottom of your deck afterwards. So getting the Nami in the list over Edward Newgate, it's a 5-cost 6k. You gain a 1k counter and you search 1 card deeper when you use the effect. And it's a 5-cost character versus a 10-cost. So yes, I absolutely love this card in the deck, but I think we can get around not having access to this card. However, this Doflamingo is really it's kind of a jack of all trades because it's a blocker, it's a 1k counter, and it fixes our Dawn on the way up on our odd curve. That is really unfortunate not having this card until, I believe, October, okay? So for the time being, what I would do to replace this card is I would probably add some type of like 4-cost Mr. 2 Bancaray Bentham maybe, something that fixes Dawn. That's probably what I would prioritize over the blocker part of over the blocker part of this card, which is no small matter, by the way. Having this blocker online, that is really nice, guys. It is really, really nice. So who knows? Maybe we go another option. There is another option we have. We can go -4 Doflamingo to go +1 Rosinante, +1 Reiju, and then maybe go +2 of the 3-cost event it's to die for. That's another possibility. It's not a great one, but it is another option. So yeah, that's what we'll have to do for the time being, because there are 7 cards in this deck we will not be able to use at the release of OP12. But everything else is pretty straightforward, right, guys? We're running the red rocks to deal with anything big on the board. Gum Jet Culverin's been nice as a 2 of, but I could see this going up to a 3 of over time, maybe even a 4 of, depending on what happens in the meta. But everything else is very straightforward, guys. I would not overthink with this deck. You are trying to curve out, and you have some of the best blockers in the game and some of the best event support in the game as well to go along the way. The way that you're going to generate value with this deck is by playing down these massive blockers that are hard for your opponent to deal with, where, okay, yeah, we're low on counter power, right? We only have 8 2k counters in this deck and only 10. We only have 10 1k counters in the whole deck. But we have 4 4K counters, we have 7 4K counters, 3 Gum Giants, 4 Concaster, and 4 3K counters with Gear 2. but we don't want to use those unless we absolutely have to. We would rather save those until the very end of the game, and that way we can get aggressive on the board. But we really want to hide behind these massive blockers and just completely ignore and attack every single turn from our opponent. Okay? All right, well, that's what the deck does, guys. I think it's going to be a lot easier to see this deck in action and be able to figure it out like that. So let's go ahead and head over to the sim and see what the deck can do. All right, first game up we have against Red Purple Roger. Okay, so let's get the volume off. Speed is on 2x. Here we go. So a lot of these games today, before we start off here, let me explain something. We're on the OP13 sim because we're running Edward Newgate in the deck. Okay, so every single game you see today is going to be from OP13 on the unlimited part of the sim, right? Some people have asked me before, how do you play in OP13? Let me go ahead and address that right now. What you do, so back to lobby here. Check this out. When you're on the main screen right here, you click multiplayer, and behind my camera's in the way, guys. Let me move it down some. There's an unlimited option right here, and this will allow you to play in the OP13 meta. Okay, just to give everybody a heads up on that real quick. All right, let me get my camera back, and now let's get into this game. So every game we see today is going to be OP13. Okay, so here we go. Volume's off, speed's on 2x. Let's go. This is against Red Purple Roger. Now, some of these games are going to be pretty quick because people are still learning their decks, right, guys? People are still learning how to play the game. People are still learning the new leaders from OP13. Okay, so Roger's going to go first here. They play out Shanks to fix their hand. I'm going to go turn 1 Searcher, and then also another turn 1 Draw a card. I'm filling up my trash with events, and I'm also fixing my hand along the way. They're going to swing for 5. We're just going to 2K counter out of that. We want to keep our hand kind of low so we can use these buff bursts to draw 2 cards. You have to have 6 or less cards in hand to use buff burst. Okay, so we -1 to do that, and here we go. Or actually, we just did it. We didn't even dawn -1 to do it. We're trying to catch up to them. They're ramping for us, guys. Our leader effect allows us... Hang on, pause. Our leader effect is going to allow us to ramp into the decks that already ramp. So, for example, normally... Hang on, let's go back, guys. We have to explain this, and don't worry, this is like a slower game. Check this out, guys. So my opponent ramped up a Dawn with their buggy last turn. They were on 3 Dawn because they went first, and it ramped them to 4. Okay? Well, now we were on 2 Dawn. We went second. We go up to 4. Now watch this, guys. I get to just attach a Dawn to my leader, and just attacking, I just ramped up to 5 Dawn because my opponent's at 4 Dawn, and I can gain a Dawn rested when I have equal to or less Dawn than my opponent. Then we're going to pay 3 for the buff burst here to fix our hand. They're going to swing for 6 here. We're going to 2K counter out of that, and now they played out a Doflamingo to ramp even more Dawn. Okay, no problem. We're going to use our God Thread here. We should have attacked first. Whoops. Well, at the same time, maybe we shouldn't have because we didn't want them to be able to block. We're going to use God Thread here. We're going to swing in for 8. We're going to Dawn. Actually, we're not going to Dawn -1 anything. We're just going to pass the turn back. That was a slight play mistake there. That was a slight play mistake, but that's okay. Like I said, we're still learning. Okay, they play out another Doflamingo, but guess what? Okay, they're going to swing for 5 here. We're just going to go ahead and 1K counter out. They're going to swing for 8. We'll take it. We're going to save that red rock, and now we are going to start slamming down the big boys. Okay, play out this Newgate, fix our hand. We don't need that Jet Culverin. Attach 2 Dawn to a character and 2 Dawn to a leader. Swing for 7, into 7. They block their turn. Okay? And then I'm going to buff burst after that by using Dawn -1. That's where my leader effect comes in really handy. I'm going to Dawn -1 and draw 2 cards. Guys, I have a lot of cards in hand. They play out a Goldie Roger, but that's game over. So that they're just going to leave after that. Because and by the way, that is just game over. When they did that right there, we're going to hit them with a red rock next turn, and that's going to drop their leader down to a 5,000 power leader because they're at 7 Dawn. Okay, so when that happens, they're in so much trouble. They'll get to attack in this turn, but I'm a 10,000 power blocker, so I'm going to block out of their first attack for free with my my Edward Newgate. And next turn, guess what? That's right. They're down to 5,000 power. I'm gonna use my Gum Gum Red Rock to bottom deck that Goldie Roger, and then I'm just gonna smash in for the turn and pass from there. And they're gonna go down to 2 life. And next turn, they're only gonna go up to 9 Dawn. What are they supposed to do? Look at their hand. Look at their hand. They can't play out their 10 cost characters, for those who are not aware, because that Goldie Roger does Dawn -3, okay? So they go down to 7 Dawn, and it has an on play to nullify the leader effect. Okay, well, guess what? On my turn, actually, they might... I think the leader effect will be... I can't remember if the leader effect is nullified for the entire turn, or if it's just while this character's in play. I can't remember exactly, but whatever the case is, I'm going to be able to attack in next turn and red rock the Goldie Roger, and now on their next turn, they go to 9 Dawn and attach 1 Dawn to their leader, and they have to go from there. That is a really, really bad spot to be in. Let me just say that right now, and then I would just keep, pressuring my opponent. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. Like I said, some of these games are a little bit short. Bear with me, guys. People are still learning their decks on the sim for OP13. Okay, volume's off. The next game we have is against Red Blue Ace. Volume's off. Speed's on 2x, and here we go. We always want to go second. Okay, we always want to go second when we have the option, but it's not a big deal if we have to go first. So Ace is going to go first. They play out the Ezo to fix their hand a little bit. We're going to use our Concaster, and our Luffy will be the Pirate King to fix our hand up, and we're going to pass the turn back. They're going to swing for 8. We're just going to go ahead and take that, and now they're going to play out another Searcher and fix their hand even more. Okay, we're not in a huge rush with this deck. It is a more defensive, controlling style of Fortress deck, so we're actually just trying to build up here. Okay, we're not going to get to attack this turn, are we? No big deal. I guess we could Dawn -1 and use Concaster here to draw a card for free and then swing for 5 into 6, and then we get to ramp the Dawn right back. They can just ignore it because it's 5 into 6, but it's not a big deal. We got to draw a card for free there. Okay, so they're going to swing for 7, and they establish a Marco. Well, guys, Jet Culverin can bottom deck a 4 or less character, and it goes off original cost. We're going to play out the Doflamingo here. I think we messed that up. I think we should have done the Dawn -1 first. Whatever. That was definitely just a play mistake there. No big deal. We got to ramp a Dawn. We're at 6 Dawn. That's the most important thing, so we can go straight into an 8 cost Katakuri next turn. Okay, here we go. We swing for 7. They're going to 2K counter out of that. We swung for 6, swung for 7. Don't be scared with swinging with your blockers with this deck, guys. Like, yes, it is meant to be more Fortress and, like, defensive, but it's not just defensive, right? We can get very aggressive if we need to. Okay, here we go. They play out the 5-cost 6K Ace from the starter deck 23, I think it is. They attack in. We're going to take that. They swing for... We don't have any 2K counters in our hand right now. That's unfortunate. We're going to cash in on a blocker. I don't want to go down to 0 life for no reason. Okay, no big deal. So now we're going to go ahead and play out this Katakuri. We're going to develop this card, and then we're probably going to attack into this Ace here. We'll swing 7 into 6. This will cost them a 2K counter. Okay. They get rid of a 2K counter, and then we're just going to pass the turn. We ramp up to 9 Dawn at the end of the turn with the Katakuri effect. They're going to go ahead and hit my Katakuri with a Flame Emperor. That's unfortunate. We're going to take a double attack for 9,000 right here, and then they're going to be able to swing for 7, maybe 8K afterwards. Okay, they're going to go for my board. Well, we're going to go ahead and just give them a 2K counter here, or maybe even a 1K, because I would rather do other things next turn. Or we could even let it go because we don't have another play. Never mind. We actually don't have another play for next turn, guys. So right here, we're just going to go ahead and probably swing for 6 into 6. Okay, we'll play out the Reiju. And now we're going to swing for 6 more. I think we have to play out a card here. We're going to Dawn -1 to play out the Concaster to draw a card. We're going to go 6 into 6, ramping a Dawn back. And then we're going to play out the Rosinante, which is going to allow us to untap 2 Dawn at the end of the turn. Very nice. Remember, guys... the 5-cost Rosinante, and we got to fix our hand, by the way. The Rosinante has a end-of-your-turn effect. If you have 7 or more Dawn on the field, then you can stand 2 Dawn as active at the end of your turn. That is really, really nice, and we got to fix our hand a little bit by trashing an event. Our hand's a little bit clogged right now. We're seeing 3 Gum Gum Giants. I only run 3 in the deck, right? I'm seeing 2 out of 3 Red Rocks. I've already, I have 2 buff bursts. I just got rid of a second gear 2, you know, or I went through 1 gear 2, and here's the second one. Okay, now they're swinging in for, they played out another 5-cost Ace. They're smashing in. I'm trying to get all the cards out of their hand here. This was the one turn where I was pretty vulnerable, but I mean, I can get out of another attack, by the way. I still have enough up for Gum Gum Giant, right? But it was like we really didn't want to have to use that there. Okay, so we finally get another 8-cost, like a big blocker, but we don't have time for that right now. We have to attack into this board. We have no choice. So right here, I think we're going to go 6 into 6 here. This is going to cost a card from hand. Okay, and then we're going to be able to go 8 into 6 and leave 1 Dawn open, and then we'll get 2 Dawn back at the end of the turn. Okay, so right here, I think we're going to load up. I'm going to Dawn -1 and buff burst first to draw some cards, and now we're going to swing for 8 into 6, ramping the Dawn back. This should go through unless they have exactly a 2K and a 1K in hand or a 2K, 2K. It does. We're going to pass the turn. We have 3 Dawn to work with now. So like I said, guys, we're not really in a crazy rush here. We don't want to give them any extra cards. Nice. We finally called a break, guys. They play out the 9-cost Newgate. They're going to go 6 into 6. That's an easy block. And now they're going to go 9 into 6. Nope. This is going to be a Gum Gum Giant. We're going to fix our hand a little bit. We're going to Dawn -2. We're probably going to trash one of these buff bursts because we have tons of cards in our hand right now. And we're going to draw 2 from that anyway and get out of that attack. Okay, nice. And we just got to our 10-cost Newgate. Let's go. We're finally starting to get ahead in this game, guys. We're finally starting to climb back in this game. Okay, I think I should play out the Edward Newgate here. That was kind of just a mistake with me not using the with me not using the card first. Okay, it looks like I have another plan here. It looks like I might. I don't know what I'm going to do. Notice this, guys. I'm going back and forth. It's like, yeah, I should have played out the Edward Newgate first before attacking in with the Rosinante, but not a big deal. We're fine. We're just fine now. So right here, we're going to attach. I don't think we're attacking with the Reiju. We're just going to go ahead and swing in for. Actually, we might not even attack, guys, because that's going to let them draw 2 cards if we attack. Yep, we're just going to pass. Oh, and we couldn't. Just kidding. They were an 8,000 power leader. What am I talking about, guys? What am I talking about? I'm going crazy over here. Okay, now I'm starting to feel very safe. I have 2 blockers, 2 Dawn up, 2 Gum Gum Giants in hand. We're doing just fine here, guys. We're doing just fine. Now, this is a pretty aggressive version of Ace. They're going to go ahead and play out the 5-cost Luffy here. And remember, guys, I am in 2x speed. This was just a really long game. They're swinging 7 into 5. I'm going to block in 1K to get out of that. I'm showing this guy like, hey, man, I'm even defending my characters. I am not afraid in this game right now. I'm not even close to losing. That's kind of what we're telling the guy, right? It's like, hey, bro, I'm not even close to losing the game right now. I'm going to block and 1K counter out when you're threatening lethal on the board. Okay, 9 into 6 is a little bit annoying because they could go 12 afterwards with the Newgate into face. I can't risk that, so we're not going to. We're just going to go ahead and cash in on a Gum Gum Giant here. We're going to get rid of a card, probably the Gum Gum Red Rock here, unfortunately, to get out of this attack. Okay, they're going to attack in for 12. Okay, well, right here, pause. That is a dangerous board stay. Do y'all see what they just did right there, guys? They just tapped out. That's what they did. They tapped out. So, I mean, really consider we could go for lethal here if we need to. Okay, and let's see what we choose to do. Okay, so right here, we're on a 10 Dawn turn. We still have an 8-cost Katakuri. We don't have to go for lethal this turn. We don't even have to, right? So here we go. We'll go 6 into 6 here. Actually, 6 into 6 into the leader. Okay, so they're going to take the 6K hit, huh? All right, well, let's see how much they enjoyed that. They take the hit. They drew a card from the leader effect. We're going 12 into 6 now. This would take 4 cards out of hand. Oh, they take it. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm going to go 8 into 6. That's going to be 2 cards. And you know what, guys? I'm saying, bro, there ain't no way. Hey, yeah, there ain't no way you've got all this. So we're going 14 into 6. They did not. They were 3K short on that. Good gain of my opponent. You got to be so careful, guys. Make sure you calculate if I have lethal or not on the board. Now, let me say this. We didn't have to go for lethal that turn at all, right? We had the 8-cost Katakuri in our hand. Our actual turn here was going to be swing 6s into the Luffy, get rid of that card as quickly as we can, and then we were probably going to attack for 12 into the 10-cost Newgate this turn and only keep our Reiju active and then play out the 8-cost Katakuri to reinforce for next turn. We'll still have the 2 blockers. We'll have 2, maybe even 3 Dawn active, and then we can go from there. Okay, good game of my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. Next game up, we got against Yellow Eustace Kid. Now, this is still OP13, guys. Even though this is like this is not an OP13 leader, we are still on the unlimited version of the sim with OP13 legal. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x. Here we go. And here we go. So Eustace Kid, this is a deck that I also want to revisit very soon. They're going to start off by swinging for 6. I probably should have 2K countered out of that, guys, because I have a buff burst in hand. That was just a play mistake, I'm going to be honest. So right here, we're going to bottom deck that card. We're going to go ahead and Dawn -1 here with our leader effect, buff burst and draw a card. We're going to swing for 6,000, and let's see what they do. They have 5 cards in hand. Wow, they're going to counter out, guys. They're going to very aggressively counter out of that. That's fine with me. I have 7 cards in hand right now. They have 4. They're going to swing for 6. We are going to respect that attack by 2K countering out. And here we go. I'm on a 6 Dawn turn. We're on a perfect trajectory, a perfect curve right now to start slamming down our 8-cost and 10-cost. We are going to go ahead and establish a 5-cost here, I think. Yeah, I think I should establish the Rosinante. Let's see what I choose to do. Instead, we're going to establish the Vinsmoke Reiju. That's fine, but I don't even think I have enough events in my trash to to get the blocker. I think we should have just swung for 5 there, guys, and established the Rosinante. That's just the better play there, in my personal opinion. They're going to play out Joribani, the new 3-cost. And then they're going to play out the Zeus. We knew they had that. That's another reason why I probably should have just played out the Rosinante. Or maybe that's why I didn't play out the Rosinante to protect that card. Okay, either way, this turn doesn't change. We're going to swing for... I think I end up swinging for 5 here on accident. I can't remember. No, we're going to go ahead and play out the Katakuri and pass the turn. Because, guys, now that we have Katakuri, they're in trouble. We're going to swing for 5 and a 6 to get our Dawn back. And here we go. We're up to 9 Dawn. they're starting to lose that window of opportunity that they need to win this game. Okay, swing for 5. We are going to counter out of that with a 2K. It's still, I know it's not the greatest way to counter out, but then we get a free block with our leader. They play out Scratchman and Pooh. We get our Katakuri back online, and here we go. Now it's going to be really rough on my opponent. I'm going to play out the Newgate, get 2 Dawn to my leader, swing 7 into 5. Now my Katakuri swings for 10. They're going to use the blocker into turn. We have plenty of cards. We can't even Dawn -1 to buff burst. We have too many cards in our hand. Okay, they play out a Eustace Kid, free block for 12, free block for 8, and that's what this deck is meant to do. And I can tell you right now, guys, against decks that don't have, like, strong removal, it is going to be a long game for them once you start slamming down these big boy blockers. Okay, we play out another Edward Newgate. We're loading up our board here, 10 into 9. Can they get out of it? Nope. I'm going to go a 7 into 7. Hey, you can gain a life. That's fine with me, bro. Hey, listen here, bud. You can gain a life all you want to. Look at my board. Okay, I still have a life, or I still have 1 life, and now next turn, guys, we're going to be able to slam down another Katakuri. 12 into 16, you say. Okay, well, here's why we were aggressively taking life earlier. I'm going to get out of that attack. Notice I saved the Rosinante. I don't want to get rid of that card. That's like the final piece of the puzzle here. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just attack in for the Katakuri here. I'm going to swing for 5 into 6. Whoops, I forgot they went up to 6 because of the Joribani. That was just a play mistake there. Oh well, not a big deal. Then we're probably going to swing for 8, 12, 12. That's probably how this turn's going to go, guys. Once my opponent passes the turn back, they're probably scratching their head like, why do you do that? We're going to swing for 8. We're going to swing for 12. We're going to swing for 12. Everything's going through or it's getting blocked. There's no other way around this one, right? These attacks are just too big. Okay, they could block out with the Joribani. If they want to, won't matter. So we're swinging in for 12 more. They take that. They're down to 2 life. Play out another Katakuri. Dawn -1. Draw 2 with buff burst. And I still have 2 Dawn for this turn. And 2 blockers, 1 life. I mean, that's basically wraps right there, right? It's game over. There's nothing they can do at this point, realistically. At least not Eustace Kid. A more aggressive deck might be able to punch through, but probably not. I just have too much going on for me here. Okay, I untap. Now we get to slam. Actually, I countered out with the Rosinante because I think we might just be going for it this turn. We're going to swing 6, and then we're going to go 8, 8, 12, 12, and we're going to stand every single card up at the end of the turn. I don't know what they're supposed to do in this situation, right? Once we get to this situation here, what are they even supposed to do? Yes, they have 2 blockers. I guess they'll survive. Yay, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? Because there's no way they can win on the crackback because I have all this defensive power in hand. I mean, guys, I have 11k counter in hand, 1 life, and I'll have 2 blockers. Okay. Red Rock their last card, standing up these guys. Your turn. Yep, that's a good spot to be in. We Red Rock the card off the board. They play out a Eustace Kid. It doesn't matter. And now we're swinging for 9, swinging for 13. That's going to be a good game. Okay. Yep, they just counter out with everything. They know, that's pretty much game over. Okay, good game to my opponent. Let's move on to the next one. That was at least a good example there of like how the deck is meant to just curve out. And once you establish these massive blockers, if your opponent doesn't have the removal for them, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Okay, next up we got a game versus Red-Black Sabo. Okay, OP13 Red-Black Sabo. Volume is off. Speed is on 2x, and here we go. I'm also very excited to start playing Red-Black Sabo, I have to say, guys. That leader is probably the one I'm most excited for out of all the new OP13 leaders, that and Joribani. Okay, so we're going to go first this time. Here we go. We're going to start off with a Searcher. We fix our hand a little bit, and we're going to pass the turn back. Now, we don't have any way to ramp Dawn here. That is not good, right? So we're stuck on an odd curve now. Unless we top deck a card, we're stuck on the odd curve, or if we hit a trigger. And guys, if I remember correctly, I know one game today I did hit a trigger, which was really nice. So we're just going to pay 3 to play out the buff burst without even using the Dawn -1. Okay, they play out a hack here. And what just happened? They play out the hack and they just pass the turn. They can't even attack in here. Okay, that's fine. Not a big deal. Now, that hack is very annoying because it does remove characters based off their original cost of 4 or less. So we're going to play out the Rosinante because that goes over the top of hack here. Now we have 7 cards in hand, I think, right? We have, hang on, let me see something. Yeah, we have 4. No, we have 8 cards in hand, so we can't do the Dawn -1 for the buff burst, unfortunately. Okay? Because if you had 7 cards in hand and you activate buff burst, that will drop you down to 6 cards in hand to do the effect. But we had 8 cards, so we couldn't do that. Okay, so we developed a Rosinante here. They're going to use their stage, and let's see what they choose to do next. They're using their stage to fix their hand a little bit here, guys. That stage is so good. in Red Black Sabo. It's actually so strong. Okay, they attach it on to their leader. They have an 8-cost character on the board because of Hack's ability, and then they have 3 or less cards, 3 or less life, so they swing for 7k with 1 Dawn on their leader. They play out a Morley. I'm not sure what is going on there, guys. I would not recommend that, right? That does not seem like the way to do it. Okay, so here we go. We swing for 6 and a 6 here. And now I think we're just going to probably attach one. Okay, we did a Dawn -1 to buff burst to draw 2 cards first. Nice. And we got to our, looks like we got to the 10-cost new gate. I didn't even notice that. So now we're on an even curve, but we're going to go back up to an odd curve with our leader effect there. No reason not to do that. We play out a Reiju. We're going to stand 2 Dawn as active. We still had 7 Dawn at the end of the turn for our Rosinante's effect. We have 3 Dawn, 4 life. I mean, we are really in a good spot right here. Okay, guys, we are really in a nice spot right here. Now, I think they did reveal from one of their searches the 8-cost Sabo. The 8-cost Sabo, that one right there, that can make you trash a card, and you can KO a 5-cost and a 3-cost character. So that was really nice. They got rid of my Rosinante. That card is very strong in the deck. But okay, if that's like their whole entire turn, they don't even attack enemy guys because of that blocker. I guess they didn't want to start committing. But that's fine with me. We're going to play out the Katakuri. We're going to Dawn -1 to Jet Culverin their blocker off the board. So now when I go to attack, he can't get rid of my Reiju. And now I'm going to swing for 5. They take that. They don't have that blocker anymore. And we're swinging in for probably 7. Yeah, I don't even care, guys. I'll just attack for 7. Look, I punched them with that, guys. They didn't expect me to attack with my blocker. So instead of getting out of the first attack for just a single card, they had to get out of 7, and they go and wrap up there. The game is not over. What they could have done here is use their stage effect to trash the 6-cost Sabo, then play out the 8-cost Dragon to fill up their board a little bit. They could have gone 9 into my Reiju. I probably would have let it go, to be fair. Or I could have blocked and 2K'd, I guess. But I probably would have just let the Reiju go. It all depends on what happens. But from there, they can fill out their board and keep going. Now, next turn doesn't get much easier for them, right? Next turn, we are going to slam down the 10-cost Edward Newgate, and we're just going to start bashing in again, right? We're just going to keep bashing in and go from there. But either way, good game to my opponent. They left a little bit prematurely. It was definitely not over. Sabo can climb back from these situations because of the stage, but still, you know, I understand the frustration there. They were starting to lose on the hand and on the board and in life. It was just, it looked like all doom and gloom there. Okay, we got one more game, guys. Next game up, good game to my opponent. Next game up we have against Green, Zoro. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x, and here we go. We got a game versus Green Zoro, guys, and this is in OP13. Okay, I'm not sure how relevant that is to Zoro players. Who knows what cards they might be running in here. Maybe the new 10-cost Shanks or something like that. Not all the cards that have been spoiled are on the sim just yet, guys. We have to give Batsu time to update the sim and stuff like that. So not all the new spoiled cards are on the sim just yet. Okay, this is the game I was thinking of where I got to ramp a Dawn with the God Thread, and that's going to get me right into my, I'm going to swing for 5 first, and then I'm going to be able to play out my Doflamingo to ramp another Dawn. I just went from basically a 2 Dawn turn to a 6 Dawn turn, guys. I'm at 6 Dawn. They're untapping at 5 going first. So we're about to go into our 8 Dawn turn. They're going to swing 7 into 5. We're just going to take this. I should have blocked in 2K, to be honest there, guys, because they only had 2 Dawn on their leader. We're going to swing 5. This is going to force a card out of hand unless they want to take it very greedily. That's fine with me. Okay, we're going to swing for 6 as well. You probably thought we weren't attacking with our character. We absolutely are. Okay, we play out a Katakuri, and it is off to the races now, guys. This is a really nice situation here. We got to ramp very quickly, very aggressively, and we're so far ahead now. So they're going to swing for 6. I can't really block out with my Katakuri here. It would be too dangerous, right? Because he can still load all of his Dawn on his leader and attack into my Katakuri. So I'm just going to 2K, and now he's going to attack 12 into 6. Okay, it's yours. You can have it. Swing for 12. We're going to take it. Oh, very nice. That's exactly the card we wanted to see there. We swing for 5 into the 1K Kuina. Just get the card off the board. And now we're going to play out the Newgate. Draw 2, trash 1. We're going to trash probably this Gear 2 here. Attach 2 Dawn to my leader. Attach 2 Dawn to my Katakuri. 10 into 6. That card's out of here. Into turn. I'm standing cards back as active. This is a nice spot to be in, guys. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like you can get here pretty consistently every single game. Okay, so pause. They just used an entire turn there to develop their board, and they took their foot off the gas pedal. Okay, well, that's probably not the best time to do that, even though I do understand what they're going for. Next turn, they're probably going to go for an OTK. So understand that, guys, for the newer players out there, my opponent just spent an entire turn doing actually nothing, right? Now, if you're playing against a new player, then, you know, maybe they're still learning the game. But in this case here, I'm actually predicting that my opponent is going for an OTK situation next turn. Okay, not a problem. I just make sure, I need to make sure to do the math to make sure he can't completely lock me out of this turn here. So guess what? I'm swinging for 5. I'm leaving all my Dawn open, and I'm going to play out another Katakuri this turn. Okay, I'm going to be able to swing with Katakuri, obviously, because, you know, he stands up in a turn. But I've even done the math here. I have enough counter power that even if he plays out a Hody Jones next turn or a Dead Man's Game or something like that, I should be completely fine in this situation. Okay, so I'm going to stand all my stuff back as active, and I'm going to pass the turn. Okay, now watch this, guys. Like I said, I was anticipating this guy's going to go for broke next turn. He's going all out. There's otherwise, I mean, if he doesn't, here's the thing. If he doesn't go all out this turn, he's still in just as much trouble as the turn before, and even more now that I have 2 Katakuris on the board. Yep, I knew that was coming. Hody Jones, tap down my 2 blockers. Maybe tapping down my 2 Dawn would have been a better call there, actually. Believe it or not, guys, that might have been a better call. Okay, but that's fine with me. He's going to swing for 7 into 5. I'm going to go ahead and 2K, 1K to get out of this one. Okay, now he's going to swing for 9 into 8. I'm actually going to save that card and still get out of these next 2 attacks, guys, these next 3 attacks. He's going to go 9. That's his biggest attack left on the board, so I should take that one. Now he's going to swing for 8, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Giant, or my Concaster here, and now he's going to be able to swing for 8. And I have Gum Giant and 2 2Ks. I think he forgot to use his Smoker's effect there. He could have swung for 9, but it didn't matter. I had an extra 4K counter in hand. So my opponent takes a little while to, you know, take a deep breath, accept what happened here. Like, yep, the game's just over. Because next turn, I'm just going to go swing 9, swing 13, or whatever it ends up being. Good game to my opponent. That was a rough spot to be in, but hey. And look at that. They did have 3 of the new Shanks in their deck. They're trying that out. I don't know if Shanks is going to be great in Zoro, but who knows? Maybe it is. We'll have to see. Either way, good game to my opponent, and good game to all my opponents. This deck is a lot of fun to play, and I feel like it actually has more answers than most people would think. Let's go back to the deck list here, guys. Where are we? Where are we, guys? Okay, let's go back to the deck list here. I think the deck has a lot more answers than you might think. Now, I've said something before on the channel. I've said this many times. If you're trying to be very good at this game, you're going to prioritize board control, right? And the decks that are winning right now, typically speaking, are decks that either A, flood the board very effectively, or B, deal with board flood very effectively. Well, this falls under that deals with board flood very effectively. Because if you're flooding the board out with some characters, and I can just block them for free every single turn with my Katakuris and my New Gates, and maybe even potentially my Reijus, well, I'm not really in a bad spot, right? I'm actually just defending everything you put down, and I still get to go aggressive afterwards. And I have these massive characters on the board, and I have these insane events here to deal with the board with Gum Red Rock. For any big character my opponent plays, I'm just going to get rid of. For, you know, if they try to swing out aggressively across the board, I have a lot of ways to, you know, draw through my deck, and just I have a lot of defensive events here that get around break points like 7K. I can just gear 2 to get out of that. If they're going to swing for 8K, I can block and use a 4K. Right, I have a lot of ways to get around some of these attacks. And yeah, the deck seems like it has actually a lot of answers to almost everything in the format. Now, that's not to say this is the best deck in the format. I'm not saying that. But I would not be surprised. Like, with the way that this deck is, with the way that these colors are and the way these cards are, this is one of those decks that I think is going to be purely based on pilot skill. Like, I think you'll probably have close to a 50-50 matchup against most decks out there. I'm sure, of course, it can't be 50-50 across the board. There's going to be some unfavorable matchups and some favorable matchups. You guys know how that goes. But let me say it like this. Whatever your most unfavorable matchup is, blue and purple has the kind of card pool where you could probably make some adjustments and make this deck a little better into said matchup. So that's something we'll have to look forward to, you know, look at in the future and try to build around. But overall, the deck was performing very well. Now, like I said, unfortunately, we don't get access to this card until OP13, the 10 cost Edward Newgate, and we don't get access to this Doflamingo until PRB02. So I think OP12 is going to be releasing later this month in August here. And then, so after August, we have September. September, I can't remember exactly what's going on. I think we get the starter deck number 22. We get ST22. Let me bring that up on the screen for the newer players who don't know what that is. It's a blue starter deck with Edward Newgate and Portgosti Ace. So we're getting this, right, in September. And then October, we'll get Doflamingo. And then I believe it's in November, we'll get PRB02 for Doflamingo in October. And then in November, we get OP13 with Edward Newgate. I believe that's the release schedule currently. So, yeah, other than that, though, guys, I mean, this deck was playing very well. I think it's going to do decently into most OP13 decks once we get to that point, and we can always make revisions afterwards to see how things go. I did not get a chance to play against Emu, obviously, because that has not been implemented into the sim just yet. We have to wait for that to get on the sim, and then I actually want to try against that deck, because I feel like if we can get enough 8-cost and 10-cost blockers down, and even Ray's use a 7k blocker to help deal with some of the 7k attacks later in the game, it might not be too bad. It might not be too bad. We'll have to see. And especially if we can catch our opponent slacking early on before they get the cards they need on the board, or, excuse me, enough cards in their trash, we'll be able to bottom deck their 4-cost guys if they play them out early on before they have 7 cards in trash. So we'll have to see what happens there. I think this deck probably could deal with Emu if we make a few adjustments based on that matchup. We'll have to see. All right, well, that's it, guys. Tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. I'm absolutely loving this version of Sanji. It's not to say that I don't like the original version of Sanji. Let me see if I still have it. I might still have it on the on here. Let me see real quick, guys. It'd be right, blue, purple, Sanji. So this is like the more standard traditional version of Sanji, and the one we're running right now is very, very different. It's not that I don't like this version. I just don't like it as much as the other version we're messing around with, where we're just curving out, dropping down these massive bodies that are going to be hard for our opponents to deal with, and just going from there. So if you like this version of Sanji more, by all means say something in the comment section below, but I am very curious to hear what people have to say about this new version we're messing with now. Is there some potential here, guys? I feel like there could be. All right, I'm done. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me get the outro on here. Alright, guys, if you're supporting me in any way, shape, or form, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, if you're using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, Playmat supporters, YouTube members, Discord community, whatever you're doing to help me out, and whatever you're doing to help out the community, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Alright, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Till next time, peace.